Last week, our own Police Chief Brooks visited the South Lawn at the White House to be a part of an event marking passage of the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Chief Brooks details the new changes that have been passed with the new bill in place to improve gun safety in the United States.
So there's a lot to the bill, and there's probably some things that I think a lot of people would like to have seen in the bill that didn't make it. But it was really the first major piece of gun legislation in almost 30 years. So one is that it closed the so-called boyfriend loophole. So under federal law, if you have been convicted of domestic violence, then you cannot purchase a firearm. But the domestic violence in the federal law is only defined as a spouse or somebody who you live with. It doesn't take into account an ex-boyfriend. So this closed up that boyfriend loophole, so to speak. It also imposed a little different kind of background check for people who are under 21. So when you go to buy a firearm now at a gun store, the gun store literally calls or uses an automated process to check with the National Instant Background Check system that's run by the FBI in Clarksburg, West Virginia, which coincidentally is where my Tuesday meeting was supposed to be. But in any event, those so-called NICS checks are run every single time somebody tries to buy a firearm. And this provided an enhanced background check for people who are under 21. Particularly that if the NICS section finds some indicators that the person shouldn't have a firearm, that they get an extension of the amount of time that they have to produce a result and get back to the gun store. For most people, it's 3 days, 3 business days, and now this makes it 10 business days. So there was that. It also assigned some money to schools to enhance security and also around mental health. So there was some funding there. It created a clearinghouse of best practices for school safety, so that school systems could check with that clearinghouse, if they want to enhance their safety. So there was that, and then some other parts that it was a fairly comprehensive bill. And like I say, it had been signed the week before when he had to be out of town, but this was an event to kind of mark that. And this was on the South Lawn of the White House. So again, I went there representing the IACP Firearms Committee with a couple of other folks from IACP, and so it was interesting.